Hello everyone, prospecting. That's my next talk in my pep talk series, process equals performance. Man, prospecting, it's one of the most important things in the sales process. But that's what I said about the meet and greet also. That's the thing about the sales process. We have to focus on each step because each step is very important. And when we skip steps, we skip our opportunity to make a deal. Now, prospecting. There's many reasons why to do it, but man, I can tell you, in dealership setting, I see a lot of sales guys sitting around on their phone. Everyone thinks, hey, I gotta be on social media only to get some prospects. Well, stay tuned. I will give you some insight on maybe some old school ways of prospecting, but I guarantee you, if you actually follow through and do these things, they'll help you make some money. Now, prospecting is very important. It's one of the most important steps in the sales process. You have to find new customers and you can't just sit around and wait for it. I see a lot of salespeople just sitting around in the dealership, looking at their phones, trying to find something when they could be actually proactively prospecting. And this goes for your other departments in the dealership also. Motor clothes, they can be sending out new arrivals and text messages to customers. They can be posting on their own social media. They can be also finding different channels to promote their department. Service advisors can be going to rallies, passing out business cards. Technicians can also be passing out business cards, trying to introduce them and allow them to get to know people better. Now, one of the best ways really to prospect is back through the people we already sold. So finding the repeat and referral business that's already sitting there is a prospecting gold nugget that you really need to get your team around. Making a true process on how to follow up on previous sold customers is very important. Whether you're contacting them once a month on the day they bought the bike, or you're contacting them once a month via their birthday, but you need to have a genuine interest in those people, contact them every single month, and when you do that, you will find more and more customers through people that already know you, like you, and trust you. Now, understanding your own statistics in your departments are very important. For us, last month, we had one dealership that over 40% of their sales came from either repeat or referrals. And understanding how to follow up properly with that is super important. I always tell the story about Bob. He sold cars with me a long time ago, and Bob was the master at following up with his previous customers. And he would always show real true interest in them, and he always found a way to get new customers from his previous customers. They were always dragging in their friends, their neighbors, their relatives to help buy a car from Bob, right? So you got to get your team to get over the fear of following up consistently and constantly with their previous customers, because if they do, they're going to find a lot more deals that are just sitting there waiting. Now, one of the places that's most neglected for prospecting, I feel, is in the service drive. A lot of times, salespeople don't want to be down there. They don't want to be in any type of confrontation with somebody, or they don't want to hear the complaints or whatnot. But in general, most of the time, everything's good in the service department. And this is an opportunity for you to talk to the people that are coming in. Now, a lot of times there's a lot of orphan owners, right? These people that the salesperson doesn't work at our dealership anymore and they really don't know who they can talk to. And it gives the salesperson an opportunity to A, make friends with somebody, and B, offer them a test ride on a new bike while their bike is getting worked on. And one of the things that I've seen work in the past is the conversation that starts like this. Hey, can I ask you a strange question? And that kind of throws people off, and they're like, sure, what you got? Would it be possible if we, bought your bike? I have a guy that's really interested in this bike. And then they think, whoa, okay, maybe I can get a lot of money for my bike or something. And this starts a conversation to where possibly you can actually do buy the bike from him, oh yeah, man, I'm not riding much anymore, my back's feeling bad, and then you can have an opportunity to get some really good inventory. Or you can work your way to an upgrade. Hey man, my back's been hurting. You should move to a touring bike. You should move to the new touring bike. Has the better suspension, has a better frame. There's just ways to start conversations with people, and it happens in the service drive, and you walk them up to the showroom afterwards. But man, we neglect that. We just pretend that these people aren't existing back in the service department. So finding a process that you can push salespeople or assign salespeople every day. So today Jerry's working the service drive, and tomorrow Bill's in the service drive. Or you just get whoever's aggressive and you feed them with information. Say, hey, I talked to the service advisors today. They got 5 bikes coming in tomorrow, and there's a good chance you could get something out of that. Okay, great. Then you get your aggressive guy down there, and he's finding a way to make deals. Now today in 2024, everyone's talking about AI. Oh man, you got to use AI. You got to use AI. Now when we're prospecting, I think AI can kind of hurt you a little bit. And the reason I say that is now it starts to become a little bit unpersonalized. And even though you can tweak it, it's almost over professionalized, right? People can read right through that, oh, this is computer generated or not. So maybe helping you prospecting through emails, or helping you write a better email, a more clear picture, that's great. But when you're working with your social media posts, I'm pretty sure these algorithms that these platforms have, they can pick up on if it's AI or not. And they really push, they don't push your product out there because they sense it's not authentic enough. So I think really going back to doing your own thing that's authentic, writing what you really are wanting to say. You might have AI clean it up a little bit, but man, if you over AI it, I think people see right through it. Back in the day, we used to always do handwritten cards, handwritten notes, and put them in the mail for customers. I don't think people do that anymore. I mean, that's something that if you take the time to do something that's real personalized like that, I think it works way better than sending out something that's really computer generated or over computerized. Now, definitely it's a tool that you can help work with. I mean, you need to utilize what it has, but don't rely on it 100%. I already see right now when dealerships are using AI to produce all their content, and you can read right through it. I think people really are looking for more genuine, unedited style. Now I think we've gone one way. We went really everything has to be perfect, and now we're kind of coming back now to where thing they really want is more just normal human contact, more human reality, I guess you'd say. Okay, now let's talk about networking and relationship building. Now, one of the things about networking is you have to really present yourself in a very energetic, enthusiastic way when you're meeting people. And, I've seen people that say, ask me what I do on their t-shirt or something, they get way really energetic at what they want to portray themselves as. But no matter what, you need to be energetic in selling what you do. Think that if you spend money with somebody, okay, so let's say you're paying the dry cleaner to press and iron your clothes every week. These are the type of people that you need to go in and you got to let them know what you do. You need to come in and say, hey, I really appreciate what you do with my clothes. You help me look the best I can be every single day. I tell you what, if you know anybody that's looking for a motorcycle or a ATV, you let them know that they can reach out to me, and I'll leave them a business card. I mean, just getting out there, be personal, and especially with the people that you're spending money with. At the cashier, at the grocery store, maybe your insurance sales, the insurance company that you're using for your car insurance. You stop in, you see your agent, you say, hey, I appreciate everything you do for me. If you know anybody looking for a motorcycle, let me know. There's these old-fashioned ways of prospecting through your relationships that's very important. Now, I'll give you a little tip. I had a guy one time that was selling motorcycles for me, and everyone in most U.S. Areas, they have the county fair in the summertime. And he would go on his own, not the dealership didn't sponsor it, he did himself. And he would bring like 2 little dirt bikes, an ATV there. He had a little standee, and he just sat there and passed out business cards as, hey, if you're ever looking for a motorcycle, look for me. He just went out of his way to do something completely different. I think a lot of times people just assume that they can't do it because, it just doesn't sound right. I mean, you can go to your general manager, you can go to the dealer owner and say, hey, is it possible I go and join the county fair and put a couple bikes out here and try to generate some business? Of course. I mean, they're going to do that. So it's not just waiting for someone else to come up with you have to be at the fair this week. Sometimes you got to really get out on your own and try to do things that is maybe a little bit weird or no one else has done it. And those are where you can really find some gold out there in your prospecting and relationship building. Now, cold calls. Everybody hates the cold call. All right. I mean, you're calling 10 people, you get rejected 9 times. You probably got a success rate of 10%, and nobody likes that feeling. But there are certain ways, if you just take a random list of people, start cold calling, it's tough. But the orphan owners of the dealership, this is a more, you're going to have a better closing ratio with the people that already have your product, know your dealership, but maybe the guy that sold them the bike, they're long gone. So you have an opportunity to at least start to build a friendship. Now, what typically happens with the orphan owners list, they get called once and then it's thrown in the drawer and that's it. But the guys that can consistently follow up with these people month after month, they're the ones that actually see the benefit. I mean, you're a farmer here, okay? And a farmer doesn't plant the seed and then tomorrow morning there's no plant and so he just leaves it there. No, I mean, it takes time. It takes time. You got to keep watering it. You got to keep watering it. And then over time, then you will start to see the fruit. So you have to build in the discipline to do things over and over and over again, even though you don't see the results. You've heard the cliche about the gym. Can't go to the gym for 1 week. You don't see any results, so you quit. I mean, this is where the time and the consistency really pays off when you're prospecting. So don't give up on the orphan owner list. Okay, this thing is actually gold, and I know right now in most dealerships there's a whole list sitting in someone's drawer downstairs that they could sell 10, 12 cars or bikes out of. All they got to do is go start cultivating and farming this list. So there you are, prospecting. It takes hard work, but it will pay off for sure. Now I encourage dealers, get your sales teams thinking about prospecting again. Okay, marketing teams doing their best to get the leads in here, but they need to get out and personally try to create and draw in stuff for their own self. Now, the last tip I'm going to give you is I've seen work really well is these Facebook groups. All right, and who controls these Facebook groups kind of has the advantage over somebody. So, for instance, the brand new Chevy Blazer or the brand new Harley-davidson bike's going to be coming out in a few months. You start a Facebook group about that bike or about that car in your area. And then you start getting people to subscribe and you want that information. That gives you a way to do more prospecting through that, generate more leads, give yourself a chance to introduce the product to more than maybe just the people in your area, but outside, and then become the absolute expert on that product. So then when people are interested in that product or they want to buy that product, they're looking to you because you've been the one on this Facebook group that's been actually giving them the information they need. I've seen sales guys do really well with those. So look into starting Facebook groups or at least joining some that you can actually start finding a way to cultivate and prospect through those also. All right, now thanks for watching. I'll be back next week with another episode of my Process Equals Performance podcast, and we'll talk about some more things in processes that can help you perform and earn more money. Thanks.